An entity of unfathomable power sits sleeping deep underneath the Pacific Ocean, imprisoned inside the mysterious stone city of R'lyeh. It might be mentally damaging to merely gaze at his form. For ages, he has been dormant beneath the waves, and he will stay that way until the stars line up, at which point he will rise and regain control of the planet. He is Cthulhu, and he is a very nasty customer. Cthulhu was invented by H.P. Lovecraft, one of the most renowned writers of strange fiction, as a component of broader mythology involving alien entities, whose very existence is beyond human comprehension. Although Cthulhu is only one of many creatures created by Lovecraft, he has achieved a degree of popularity and infamy that his horrifying cousins have not. In this video, we'll learn about the cult of Cthulhu, his link to the other monsters and mystics in Lovecraft's pantheon, and his role in popular culture. So make sure you stay glued to your seats, and let's begin. Although no live character in the novel ever sees the actual entity, Cthulhu makes his first formal appearance in Lovecraft's short story, The Call of Cthulhu from 1926. The story's characters either encounter Cthulhu in their dreams or through works of art. The story's narrator claims that a Cthulhu statue included elements of an octopus, a dragon, and a humanoid or anthropomorphic monster. Based on this description, sculptors and painters have produced works of art showing the creature as having a huge pair of wings linked to his back and an octopus-like head replete with tentacles. In that initial story, Lovecraft didn't reveal much information about Cthulhu. He said that Cthulhu had dominated the earth and would do so once more in the future. The narrator discovers during the course of the story that Cthulhu was imprisoned in a stone city beneath the ocean, but that an earthquake had forced a portion of the city back to the surface. Although not awakened, Cthulhu was able to communicate with highly imaginative or insane individuals, while rational, everyday brains appear to be immune to Cthulhu's influence. The narrator learns toward the end of the tale that the city once more drowned in the sea during a severe storm, and Cthulhu is apparently dreaming once more. The cult of Cthulhu, a group of people who believe Cthulhu will return eventually and strive to expedite it, is also introduced in the narrative. They see a moment when humanity will abandon ideas of civilization and restraint, and Cthulhu will rise up and take over the planet. Men will luxuriate in their most primitive inclinations as chaos results. Lovecraft argues that the sheer nature of Cthulhu makes it impossible for humanity to completely comprehend him. There are many similarly mysterious entities in the Lovecraftian cosmos. Some of these are strong, immortal beings from beyond the stars known as the Great Old Ones or the Old Ones. Most of Lovecraft's admirers also agree that Cthulhu is one of these alien creatures that only partially exist in our world, despite the fact that he used the phrase the Great Old Ones in conflicting ways. The other creatures have very little to no physical presence in our world and have enormous cosmic physical forms like dwarf celestial bodies. Lovecraft refers to Cthulhu as the priest of the Old Ones, although it is unclear if he means that Cthulhu was the leader of the religion for the Old Ones themselves or that he led others in worshipping the Old Ones. Many of the Great Old Ones arrived on Earth while it was still quite young but not uninhabited. A species of creatures known as the Elder Things, which Lovecraft confusingly referred to as the Old Ones at times, had already colonized the planet, building enormous buildings and maybe even the first signs of life on Earth. The Great Old Ones' conflict with the Elder Things finally resulted in an uneasy truce. Eventually, the stone metropolis of R'lyeh became the home of the Great Old Ones. They were on the planet when the first humans emerged and governed it for millions of years. In those prehistoric times, Cthulhu guided humanity to old temples and locations where they discovered sculptures and artwork from other worlds by telepathically communicating with them. The sculptures were crafted by the Great Old Ones using substances that don't exist on Earth. Due to this, the formation of cults dedicated to Cthulhu and the other immortal entities started. R'lyeh submerged beneath the sea not long after man first appeared, trapping the Old Ones inside. Only a small portion of humanity remained to worship Cthulhu because they recalled their telepathic conversations with him. Lovecraft describes cults that are present all throughout the world, from China to Greenland to the Louisiana marshes. The alien cry, Fanglui Megalowanafa Cthulhu Relie Waga Nagal Fatagan, is repeated by these cults. According to Lovecraft, the reason why the Great Old Ones are isolated from humanity and unable to directly affect them is because thought cannot travel through the depths of the ocean, awaiting the day when the stars will line up and Relie will once more break the ocean surface. They are dormant in the city. Even the location of Relie is given by Lovecraft in the Call of Cthulhu. Fans of Lovecraft refer to this mythology as the Cthulhu mythos. Despite the fact that Cthulhu himself is not the most potent being in the pantheon of bizarre beings Lovecraft envisioned, but it's important to remember that Lovecraft also produced a number of works that have nothing to do with the Cthulhu mythology. The mythos is extremely remarkable since it has flourished in spite of Lovecraft's own demise, not only survived it. Some of the unusual species that may be discovered there include the following. Azathoth, who is a creature of unfathomable size and power that unthinkingly rules in the epicenter of infinity. A race of beings known as the Deep Ones, who resembles a cross between a man and a fish, were created by the deity Dagon. Dagon, the chief deity of the Philistines, were not a Lovecraftian invention. Hastur was a wicked deity who was frequently referred to as he who must not be named, because whenever his name was mentioned, he was known to appear, typically in a very negative mood, the essence and messenger of the other gods, beings whose might surpasses even that of the Great Old Ones. Nyarlathotep, also known as the Crawling Chaos, has endless forms and appears to have a sarcastic sense of humor. Shoggoths, who were created by the Elder Things as slaves, and their goopy bodies allowed them to take on any form. In the mystical classic Necronomicon, Yog-Sothoth, the all-encompassing god who encompasses all existence and time, is extensively referenced. Cthulhu appears in strange places, but the role-playing game genre isn't quite as strange. Several characters from the Cthulhu mythos were featured in the 1980 Dungeons & Dragons reference book, Deities and Demigods, by the game's designers. However, Chaosium later went on to release one of the best horror role-playing games ever. They created a game that was heavily influenced by the Cthulhu mythology and dubbed it Call of Cthulhu. The characters that players take on are everyday folks caught up in Lovecraft's fantastical realm. The most characters can hope for is a speedy death before they go entirely mad, just like the characters in Lovecraft's novels. Characters must solve puzzles while aware that doing so puts their own sanity at peril. A well-run game makes the players feel uneasy and paranoid. And that is all about Cthulhu. Let us know down in the comments below of what you think of it, and would you be playing the game built around its story? Also, if you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on our future uploads. We'll see you next time with another amazing story. Until then, stay hidden.